Jamal Bathia here with the Clutch Report. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. About 2 or 3 days ago, Ja Morant. I just don't understand the mindset of a person who won't learn. Like, I'm not trying to come down on Ja. I'm at this moment nobody to him. I'm just another critic. But at some point, you ask yourself, when does a person learn from their mistakes? When do you lose enough deals? When does it all hit you that you need to change? At the same time, I think that once you make certain mistakes, the eyes are always watching you. So about 2 or 3 days ago, Ja Morant, playing against the Golden State Warriors in Memphis, signaled over to the Golden State Warriors bench in these like gunshot looking motions. Draymond walked past him and looked at the ref and was like, "You don't see him? Like what is that?" We keep having these incidents with Ja Morant and guns. And I just honestly, for the life of me, don't get why he doesn't understand that. Like, as much as people want to say, oh, well, Stephen A., LeBron wouldn't have done nothing. He wouldn't have hit him. He wouldn't have touched him. Y'all do realize that's a good thing sometime, right? If LeBron fights somebody and leaves the court, the other team wins more than likely. So maybe, who knows? Maybe LeBron's a nice guy and he's not really a fighter, which, again, isn't a bad thing. But according to black culture, the tougher you are, the more manly you are. And on some level, that's true. But it goes overboard in our culture. Ja Morant, raised in a 2-parent home, good family values, went to a private school. I'm not saying he's not a man. He is a man. I respect him as a man. But as far as tough and street, number one, you don't need to prove that. And I feel like that's really the elephant in the room, or the bottom baseline of this argument. It's just that black culture makes black men think they got to be tough, street, and thug in order to be validated. At the end of the day, we all do what we do for validation. Period. And once you learn to self-validate, it saves so much time and trouble. Ja Morant's first incident, March 4th of 2023, he was seen on Instagram Live flashing a gun at a nightclub in Glendale, Colorado, following a game against the Denver Nuggets. May of 2023, May 13th to be exact. Just 2 months after his first suspension, Morant was seen again on IG Live flashing a gun while he was in the car with a friend. I remember these incidents. Ridiculous. If we go back, July of 2022, he assaulted, what did they say? I think a teenager at the time, a 17-year-old. He punched him during a basketball game, a pickup game in Tennessee. And I just don't understand why it's like at some point you don't learn from this and just say, I'll just prop it up. I don't understand why at some point it hasn't clicked yet that he gets in trouble doing these things that I think any company would be worried about if an employee is showing themselves this way. As Americans, we have legal right to bear arms. We can own guns. Cool. But how many people that own guns are just out on IG Live like chitty chitty bang bang? No. It's a lot of homeowners, men that are married fathers that have guns in the house. Come in this house, we got a problem. And it's our right to do that. But at some point, when does this show off mentality stop? I just listed three other incidents Ja Morant had. And at no point in those incidents does it seem like he learned to just stop and just stop. So now the NBA is investigating, and Ja is potentially facing even more trouble. And for me, for nothing. For what really seems like nothing. Excuse me. Now, the funny thing is, Fox Sports actually did an article about this incident. And according to the Fox Sports article, I'll put the link to the article in the description. According to that article, it's actually possible Buddy Hield on the Warriors instigated this incident because he did some gun emoji at Ja, and I think that's the real reason they're investigating, because it's like, even with the reputation, when I'll talk about reputation in a second, even with the reputation, if it is true that Buddy Hield is the one that kind of sparked this, Ja's punishment should be but so much. And I say that because retaliation is a lot different than instigation. And I'm not saying retaliation is okay, because again, going back to LeBron, do you remember the time Nazir Mohammed pushed him down on the court and LeBron fell? Probably flopped a little bit in the process too. You remember that? What if LeBron would have got up and cleaned his clock like he should have? Like most men do on the street. What is it? They're going to lose the game against the Bulls, which was a decent rivalry at the time. I mean, Derrick Rose didn't really have any offensive help, so I can't say if it's a serious rivalry. But like at that time, the Bulls were pretty good, right? What if LeBron gets up and cleans his clock? All the men in the world going to go, yeah, Bron. Some men would have went boo because they just don't like LeBron. But the smarter men in the room would have been like, you just got suspended for 5 games, idiot. Now your team is going to lose probably all 5 games. What I'm really saying is, I think sometimes to not retaliate is better. And sometimes what society deems weak is actually smart and strong. Because sometimes when you're in a certain setting, like have you ever been out, you've seen a guy with his girl, they boo-loving, all of that, and somebody else test him, and you clearly see the guy go, you know what? I'm with my lady tonight. I ain't doing this. I'm about to go buy my lady a drink, you know what I'm saying? Take her home, wine her down, or take her down. I ain't doing this with you. I guarantee there was some men in the room that would be like, oh, he weak, he backed down. So I'm supposed to screw up my evening with my lady to fight you? Psst. If I hang out with you, our night's not going to end the way my night could end with my lady. So I'm going to make her happy. Unless, of course, hands are put on you and you got to do something. That's different. That's different. So I think if it's a retaliation instead of an instigation, I think Ja's punishment should be minimal. But honestly, Ja got to learn. Stop doing dumb stuff. Like, this is just dumb stuff. You didn't come from it. You weren't raised in it. Yes, it looked cool on social media to other kids who think they got to be tough in order to be validated too. Stop. Even if somebody does this after this, because let's be honest, we talk about old school basketball. I forget who it was. I think it was James Worthy that said Dennis Rodman like squeezed his butt one time in the middle of the game. You might be thinking, what in the hell? He crazy? He gay? Yeah, but the whole time he got your mind off and he wins the game. People will go to great lengths to win. And what happens in the future if somebody decides they want to beat the Grizzlies, or let's just piss off Ja Morant? Chitty chitty bang bang Ja. Then what? Does he retaliate? Or does he be a grown man about it and go, you know what? I'm not going to ruin this 4-game, road trip. I'm not going to ruin a 4-game homestand. I'm not going to ruin this for that. I'm going to fall back on it. I think Ja needs to mature and learn to stop and leave it alone. Case closed.
Russell Westbrook's peak is not top 3 all time. We get that he averaged a triple-double, but the efficiencies it came with, the way he got the triple-doubles, hey, move out of the way, let me get this rebound. Oh, I'm on my 9 assists. Oh, yeah, I'm passing the rest of the game until somebody makes something.
Peak Russell Westbrook is an all-time great. He's a first ballot slam dunk, no doubt Hall of Famer. I know the NBA tends to allow a lot of people in the Hall of Fame, especially compared to other sports, and I've talked about that. But we should respect Russell Westbrook's peak. Russell Westbrook is one of one. He's not some slouch that just had a few good years. Like, people love to talk about him stat padding and, oh, he's just going to overly pass or snatch a rebound from a teammate. I think Russell's motor, he runs so hard, he plays so hard that sometimes that might have happened by accident, but I don't think he was out there like trying too hard to just make something happen. I think we got to stop. I think we're going overboard with our analysis of Russell Westbrook.
Is Kobe Bryant the most skilled NBA player in NBA history?
So the funny thing is, this is not going to sound good to some people, but is Kobe the most skilled player of all time? No, in my opinion. I think he's one of. But to be honest, and I've talked about this at length, I think if Kyrie Irving was bigger, I think the answer would be obviously Kyrie. He shoots better percentages from every single part of the court than Kobe did. He's only 6'2". He can get any shot off that he wants to get off against anybody, regardless of how short or tall they are. I think Kyrie's not top 75 and may not make the Hall of Fame because of reputation. And he did some sketchy stuff in his career. And so unfortunately, his reputation isn't very high. But to be honest, I think Kyrie Irving is, in my opinion, I would pick Kyrie Irving as the most skilled player in NBA history.
Tim Duncan is better than Kobe all time, and it's not even close. I made a video a couple months back explaining it, but that's one that always gets people angry for some reason.
As a lifelong Spurs fan, there actually is a growing sentiment that Tim Duncan's place all time isn't high enough. And I mean, part of it is, as people, there is information and then there's excitement. I think that at the end of the day, if you look at Duncan's career just statistically, it's possible to make an argument that he's better than Kobe. I mean, there were years in the 2000s where him and Garnett sometime were ranked higher than Kobe. This is not that big of a proof of what I just said, but even there were video games at the time that had Garnett ranked ahead of Kobe, right? So my point is, Kobe's more exciting, he's more polarizing, he's more famous. So naturally, he gets more of a positive light shed on him all time. But I mean, there might be some validity if you really look at the numbers to Tim Duncan's peak being higher than Kobe's. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for this episode of The Clutch Report. I'm your host, Jamal Bethia. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Peace.